Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. We love to take fascinating looks into all sorts of different areas, and today we're tackling personal finance and investing.
Ooh, exciting stuff.
It is. And, sometimes this world can feel so overwhelming with all the jargon and conflicting advice. But luckily for all of us, we've got a fantastic guy today in the form of Shirang Nadkarni and his blog, Nomadnomics.
Oh, I've heard of this guy. He's kind of a legend in the personal finance world, right? Like he achieved financial independence at 29.
You're telling me that alone got my attention.
But it's more than that, right? He's not just some guru preaching from on high. He's actually walked the walk.
Exactly. I mean, the guy has a background working with like AWS and Samsung. He's even an accredited angel investor.
Let's talk about impressive. So we know he knows his stuff. But what really stood out to me about Nomadnomics is the tone. It's not about get-rich-quick schemes or trying to sell you something.
It really feels like he's sharing this knowledge out of pure passion to help others.
Yeah.
And that makes a huge difference. Absolutely. So in this deep dive, we're going to unpack some of the gems of wisdom Shirang has to offer on his blog. We'll look at practical tips, investment strategies, and that all-important mindset shift you need to really master your money.
Whether you're just starting out or you've been investing for a while, I guarantee you'll find something valuable here.
Now, before we get too deep, let's talk about Shirang himself a little bit, just to paint a picture for our listeners. As we said, he reached financial independence by 29. Pretty incredible feat.
Yeah, and he actually has a guide on his blog titled How to Make $1 Million Before Turning 30. It's packed with advice.
Okay, so let's be real. $1 million by 30. That's a dream for many. But what's interesting is that his guide isn't about earning a crazy income. It's about being smart with what you have.
Right. It's about setting those financial goals, maximizing your earning potential, and then being super consistent with your investments.
And he uses an example that I think is really relatable. Someone making a moderate salary, like $60,000 a year. He shows how, by investing just $9,000 annually for 26 years, you can potentially hit that $1 million mark.
It's the power of compounding returns. Your money starts working for you.
Now, $1 million by 30 might not be everyone's goal, but it's a powerful illustration of what's possible with the right approach. What financial goals do you have in mind? How do Shirang's insights kind of fit into your aspirations?
That's a great question for all of us to think about. And Shirang also challenges this idea that financial freedom is only about early retirement, like quitting your job at 35 and living on a beach.
Right, it's more nuanced than that.
Exactly. He emphasizes it's about cash flow, building passive income that exceeds your expenses.
Ah, yes. Having your money work for you. So that could be dividend-paying stocks, real estate, building an online business, all sorts of things.
Multiple streams of income. That's a key takeaway for sure.
And he ties this into the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early. But he sees FIRE as one path within this broader landscape of financial freedom.
He's got a whole blog post about it. 8 essential things to do to be financially independent and retire early, even if early retirement isn't your thing. There's some really insightful points in there.
Like, what stood out to you?
Well, one big one is understanding your numbers. Not just your income, but your net worth, your monthly expenses, the rate of return on your investments. He even recommends specific tools for this.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. Like Empower for tracking your net worth and Vanguard for keeping an eye on your investment return.
Exactly. It's about having that clear picture so you can make informed decisions and track your progress, and then budgeting, of course. He's a big advocate for that.
But not in a restrictive way.
No. It's more about making conscious spending choices, finding ways to save at least 15% of your income to invest.
Now here's where the fun starts. He gets into some unique investment strategies, like coffee can investing. Have you heard of this one?
I have. It's about picking those high-quality stocks and then just letting them sit for years. Like literally putting them in a coffee can and forgetting about them.
Right. Avoids that emotional decision-making and helps you ride out the market ups and downs. He also talks about something called anchoring bias, which I found really interesting.
Yeah, anchoring bias. It's the psychological thing that trips people up. It's that tendency to rely too heavily on the first piece of information you get, even if it's not relevant.
Oh, I see. So like if you see a stock price drop a ton from its all-time high, you might think it's a bargain, even if the company itself has changed.
Exactly. And Shirang highlights this bias, so we're more aware of these psychological factors. He also gets into some of the more technical stuff, explaining things like IRR, XIRR, absolute return.
It definitely shows the depth of his knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't dumb things down. He's committed to providing that full understanding. but in a way that's still approachable.
Definitely. And another thing I really appreciate is his emphasis on continuous learning. The world of finance is always changing, so you got to stay curious, keep learning and adjusting your strategies.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about Sharang's background, his journey to financial independence, his focus on compounding, returns his thoughts on what financial freedom really means. But now I think it's time to dive into the nitty-gritty of his investment strategies.
Yes. Let's get into the specifics.
Because he's got a lot to offer beyond just the coffee can approach. So stay tuned, folks. We're about to unlock some serious financial wisdom.
This is going to be good. All right, so let's dive into some of those specific strategies. Remember, he's all about finding what works for you, your goals, your risk tolerance.
And one that I think is a great starting point for a lot of people is index fund investing. It's something we hear about all the time, but Sharang explains it in a way that just clicks.
Yeah, he makes it super accessible.
Yeah.
So basically, index funds are like these baskets of stocks that track a specific market index, like the S&P 500.
So instead of picking individual stocks, you're instantly diversified, spreading your risk across a bunch of companies.
Exactly. And what I really appreciate is that he emphasizes choosing low-cost index funds because those fees can really eat into your returns over time.
That's a great point. He even recommends specific funds and platforms like Vanguard, known for those low fees.
Yeah, he's not just talking in generalities. He's giving you concrete recommendations, which is super helpful.
Now, for those who are a bit more comfortable with risk, maybe looking for higher growth potential, Sharang also talks about growth stock investing.
Oh yeah, growth stocks. Those are the companies that are expected to grow faster than the market average.
Right. They're often in industries that are like rapidly expanding or disrupting things.
But they can be more volatile. So you got to be prepared for some ups and downs.
He really stresses doing your research, looking at their revenue growth, earnings, potential competitive advantages, that kind of thing.
And this is where his technical background shines. He explains concepts like price to earnings ratios, which can help you figure out if a stock is overvalued or undervalued.
He doesn't shy away from those details, but he breaks them down in a way that makes sense, empowering you to make those informed decisions.
Now, another strategy he's a big fan of is dividend investing, all about that passive income stream.
Oh yeah, dividends, like getting a little paycheck from your investments.
Exactly. And he recommends looking for companies with a history of paying consistent dividends and even increasing them over time.
And diversification is key here too, right? Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Spread it out across different sectors and industries. He even gets into the tax implications of dividend income, which is something a lot of people don't think about.
Super thorough. That's Sharang for you. Now, beyond stocks, he also dives into real estate investing, which can be a whole other beast.
Oh yeah, real estate is more hands-on, but he sees it as having unique advantages. Potential for appreciation, rental income tax benefits.
He talks about buying rental properties, investing in REITs. He even shares some of his own experiences.
And he's big on due diligence, researching the market, analyzing rental income, getting a professional inspection.
Making sure you're not jumping into anything blindly.
Right.
He also gets into the financing side, mortgages, interest rates, down payments.
A comprehensive overview for sure. Now, what I really like about Sharang's approach is that he doesn't just focus on the numbers.
Right. He talks a lot about mindset too.
Yeah, like avoiding emotional decision-making, not getting caught up in the hype.
That FOMO, fear of missing out, it can be dangerous for investors.
Absolutely. He encourages you to focus on your own goals, do your research, and not get swayed by what everyone else is doing.
It's about making those rational decisions based on solid principles.
Yeah.
Not on emotions.
And then patience and discipline, those are huge. Building wealth takes time.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. He reminds us of that. It's about those consistent contributions over time, letting compounding do its work.
And reviewing your portfolio regularly, making adjustments as needed, like rebalancing your asset allocation.
Right, keeping things aligned with your goals as your life changes. Now, while he advocates for diversification, he also talks about having conviction in your choices.
Yeah, once you've done your research and you believe in an investment, don't be afraid to hold on to it.
Even when everyone else is selling, that's tough to do sometimes.
It is. But that long-term perspective is so important. He even talks about some alternative investments like precious metals and cryptocurrencies.
Which can be pretty volatile. But he acknowledges they have a place for some investors, as long as you understand the risks.
Exactly. It's all about making informed decisions that fit your overall plan. Now, one thing that really stands out to me about Sharang is that he's willing to talk about his mistakes.
Oh yeah, he's very open about the investment blunders he's made along the way.
Which makes him so relatable. He's not claiming to be perfect. He's sharing his journey, warts and all.
And that makes his advice even more valuable, because, he's learned from those experiences.
And he's so generous with his knowledge. His blog has tons of free resources, guides, spreadsheets, templates.
It's clear he's passionate about helping others. Not just talking about it, but actually giving people the tools to succeed.
He even offers personalized coaching and consulting for those who want that extra support.
So for anyone listening, if you haven't checked out Sharang's work, Nomadnomics, and his Instagram finance Game Strong, I highly recommend it.
He's a wealth of knowledge and a true champion of financial literacy.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Sharang's background, his philosophy, his investment strategies, the importance of mindset. But there's one more thing we need to highlight.
Oh, what's that?
It's his emphasis on giving back. He believes that financial success isn't just about accumulating wealth for yourself.
It's about using it to make a positive impact.
Exactly. He's a big believer in philanthropy and encourages others to find ways to give back to their communities or support causes they care about.
It's about living a life of purpose, making a difference in the world.
So as you continue on your financial journeys, think about that. How can you use your resources to make a positive impact?
What causes are you passionate about? How can you support them? It's a powerful question to reflect on.
Now, before we get to our final thoughts, I wanted to mention one more unique aspect of Sharang's approach.
Oh, what's that? Always eager to hear more.
Well, he's a big advocate for integrating travel and adventure into your financial journey.
Makes sense. His blog is called Nomadnomics, after all.
Right. He believes that experiencing different cultures, broadening your horizons, it enriches your life in a way that money can't buy.
So true. And he shares tips on how to travel affordably, find deals, even generate income while traveling.
He talks about geographic arbitrage, leveraging cost of living differences between countries.
A fascinating concept for sure, especially for those who want a more adventurous lifestyle.
He really challenges those traditional ideas of work, travel, retirement, encourages you to design a life that fits your values.
So it's not just about financial independence, it's about creating a life that's fulfilling and meaningful.
That's a great point. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are some key takeaways our listeners can ponder?
Well, I think the biggest one is that financial freedom is achievable. For anyone who's willing to put in the work, learn, and be disciplined.
It's not about luck or having a huge income. It's about making smart choices, being consistent, having that long-term vision.
And it's not just about the numbers. It's about having the freedom and flexibility to live a life that aligns with your values.
And using your resources to make a positive impact on the world, whether it's through philanthropy or supporting causes you believe in.
Sharang's story is truly inspiring. It shows that you can achieve both financial success and a life filled with purpose.
So as we wrap up, what's that one thought-provoking question our listeners can take away? Something to really ponder.
How about this? What is one small step you can take today to start building a stronger financial future and a life that truly reflects your values and aspirations?
That's a great one. It could be setting up a budget, researching investments, exploring a new skill, anything that moves you forward.
Remember, financial freedom is a journey, and every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goals.
And a huge thank you to Sharang Nadkarni for his incredible contributions to the world of personal finance. His passion and knowledge are truly inspiring.
If you haven't already, be sure to check out his blog, Nomadnomics, and his Instagram finance Game Strong. You won't be disappointed.
He really is a great example of someone who's achieved so much and is now dedicated to helping others do the same.
I know, it's really inspiring, and he does it in such a down-to-earth way.
Right. No EO, just genuine, helpful advice. And that's what we've tried to do in this deep dive, too, taking all of Sharang's insights and kind of distilling them down to the most important bits.
Absolutely. So as we wrap things up, what stands out to you the most from everything we've discussed about Sharang's approach?
Good question. I think for me, it's that balance of practicality and mindset. He's not just throwing around fancy terms. He explains things, clearly gives you actionable steps, and then really emphasizes that inner game, that relationship with money.
Right. He constantly reminds us that financial freedom is a journey. It's not just about hitting a certain number in your bank account.
Exactly. It's about designing a life that you love, that aligns with what you truly value. And that's something I think a lot of people lose sight of.
I agree. And Sharang proves that it's possible to achieve financial success while also living a life of purpose, following your passions, making a difference.
And it doesn't have to be this super complicated thing. He breaks it down in a way that makes it feel achievable for anyone who's willing to put in the work.
He truly is a trailblazer in this space, helping to make financial literacy more accessible and relatable for everyone.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So a huge thank you to Shirang Nadkarni for his incredible contributions to the world of personal finance. He's truly inspiring.
And to everyone listening, if you want to learn more from Shirang, head over to his blog Nomadnomics and give him a follow on Instagram, Finance Game Strong.
You won't regret it. Now, as we wrap up this deep dive, let's leave our listeners with one final thought-provoking question. Something to ponder as they continue on their own financial journeys.
How about this? What is one small step you can take today, right now, to start building a stronger financial future and create a life that truly reflects your values and dreams?
Love it. It could be anything. Setting up a budget, researching investment options, learning a new skill. The important thing is to start taking action, no matter how small.
Remember, every step counts. Financial freedom is a journey, and with each step you take, you're getting closer to those goals.
That's a great note to end on. So thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it valuable and inspiring. And remember, keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving for that life of financial freedom and fulfillment.
Until next time.